I regret that I am the one who has to inform many of you that you'll be relegated to the new Pac-12. That is right. The Big 12 is shaving the fat. A couple of you are being sent down to the minor leagues. It's the old farm system for you guys. It's low-hanging fruit to start with Houston. It'd be more fun to start with TCU or Baylor or Kansas and talk about why you can no longer play in the Big 12. But, Houston. Reminds me a lot of, and I think Willie Fritz is a good coach. It reminds me a lot of when Matt Rule went 1-11 his first year at Baylor, and a couple of years later they were great. The only problem is that Matt Rule got there in the middle of one of the worst scandals in the history of college football, and the only scandal that has ridden Houston football is Houston football. That's it. It's just like what you've been cursed with is just being Houston football. 34-0 you lost to Cincinnati. There is no sign of life. There was no sign of life. I watched this game, and I was like, oh, cool. Maybe Donovan Smith could do something. And I started thinking, oh, man, I could really root for him. Or maybe the defense. No. This was pitiful. I want to see some inkling, especially after last week, some inkling of competition against a team in Cincinnati that I went back and forth on. I went back and forth in this game. Houston only went back. Cincinnati only went fourth. Are the Bearcats good? Many are asking. That's as in-depth as I want to get on Houston football. Oh, TCU. Let's go you next. We'll spare you, Kansas. You sit where you are, and Baylor will get to you, too. TCU, this was one of my locks of the week. I love the Frogs on the road against SMU. The mayor of Dallas comes out in that TCU sucks shirt. Mayor of Fort Worth is like, I got one better. Your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Your head coach, Sonny Dykes, who was the head coach at TCU, showed his bottom, was kicked out of this game, and is like blowing kisses and waving at people as he walks out. This was an absolute dumpster fire of a performance. The SMU crowd's not intimidating. Heck, there were probably as many TCU fans there. This isn't a real rivalry. TCU's biggest rival is Baylor. Baylor's biggest rival is TCU. SMU is kind of stuck in the middle, not having a rival because they've been irrelevant. And now, as they join the ACC, team that lost at home, they lost at home to BYU and only scored 15 points. You handed them a whopping 66 points. Josh Hoover's very good at football. It's weird to question the TCU offense when they put up 42 and the defense allowed 66. But I keep going back to this, and I've said this a lot. People, non-ball knowers, will look at that and immediately go, oh, well, the defense sucks. Yeah, the TCU defense is not very good. Might I say, though, there are so many times where Kendall Briles, the guy with the last name Briles, has me scratching my head. I remove my skull and I just wiggle my brain a little bit, thinking, why was the TCU offense only on the field for 17 seconds? Why can't they establish the run game at all? 32 carries for 65 yards. So at some point you go, well, shoot, guess we got to throw the football 46 times in this game. There's a good receiving core, a good quarterback, too. You put your defense in terrible spots constantly. Oh, hello there, defense. Would you like a break? Sorry, you got to go back on the field because our offense went 3 and out. And look, the downfall here for Sonny Dykes is the day. He goes to the national championship. In his first year, he goes to the college football playoff and wins a game. And then he has this genius idea. I'm going to hire a guy with the last name Briles. I'm going to hire Art Briles' son. And we're going to take a picture of him with his family on a plane, and nobody's going to remember that he was in the middle of one of the worst scandals in college football history. Yeah, so what? His last name's Briles. He's a good offensive coach. No, he wasn't even that good at Arkansas. TCU said, yeah, we'll stick our neck out for the Briles guy. Anybody? Bueller? Are we like Jeremiah Donati at this point? Be like, hey, Sonny Dykes, you have won here, actually been to a national championship game. What if we just, didn't have that one guy as our offensive coordinator? That's a conversation that probably can be had, probably should be had. And then while we're at it, let's fire the DC, the special teams guy, Kaz Kazadi, and maybe Sonny Dykes, too. He's officially on the chopping block. Greatest season in school history. No doubt. You went to the Natty. Oh, that was awesome. And now that's what you do? 66-42 to SMU. You get embarrassed by SMU? This isn't even a good SMU team. They lost 18-15 to BYU. Their offense was incompetent. You gave them 66 points. Kansas. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because, like, you could be like, oh, well, let's blame Jeff Grimes. And then there's Z, who's the other offensive guy. I don't even know. How do you pronounce his last name? Everybody keeps referring to him as Z. And what I will give a little bit of leeway here to the OCs, the many OCs that Kansas has, apparently. They don't have the ball in their hands. Jalen Daniels does, and he's just not good. In the past, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Pre-injury, for sure. Jason Beam was great, too. Andy Kotelnicki, great. This version of Jalen Daniels is dog water. I haven't used that phrase since I was in a fraternity in college. It was one of my favorites at one point in time. That is completely warranted here. Dog water is warranted. 15 for 25, 184 yards. And in a game where you're up double digits, just go win. Hey, keep the ball a little bit. Hold on to it offensively. Nope. No. Instead, Jalen Daniels threw one of the worst interceptions that I've seen. Just kind of lob it to the opposing team. Garrett Green on the other side, 15 for 30. That's not very good. But on the ground, that hoss was a moving 87 rushing yards, a touchdown as well. Those 295 yards through the air is a 10-yard average. That's good. His 2 interceptions were also not great. They just looked like 2 not very competent. This just wasn't a football game. I kept being like, God bless, man. Can any of this please look good, remotely good? And it didn't. Kansas, TCU, and Houston are moving to the Pac-12. I don't know, man. 1-3 Kansas. Well, Lance Leipold, has he ruined his shot at being the coach at Florida? Or is that just what he's looking for? Just to get out of town at the end of this year? This is a complete 180 from where I thought the Jayhawks would be. The Baylor Bears. When I worked at ESPN Central Texas, we had a commercial that would come on, and the guy would say, the Baylor Bears. Just like that every time. The Baylor Bears going to Folsom Field in Colorado and win the game. Isaiah Hankins kicks a field goal. It's good. 10-point lead. Bears kind of coast from there. Colorado drives. Like a 50-yard Hail Mary they attempted to make it a 3-point game. Of course, that was incomplete because Hail Marys usually are. Oh, no, wait a second. That's what should have happened or very well could have happened. But instead, you have 1st and 10 at the 26 of Colorado. You don't move the ball at all. Then you kick a field goal and you miss it. And then Colorado has not one, but two successful Hail Marys. First one, the kid just dropped, like in your chest. The second one, it's like a real life Hail Mary, tied the game, overtime, Colorado wins. Dave Aranda will get fired. I can't help that. I was asking for this 7 months ago. 8 months. I was begging. Mac Rhodes, the athletic director. And I'm honestly, at this point, I'm less mad at Dave Aranda as I am Mac Rhodes. You're the AD who said, yeah, I trust 3-9 guy. Come on. He's got a good recruiting class in 2026. Sure, those kids are 17. Come on, we'll give them a chance. Yeah. That's who I hold the, what is it? What's the phrase? Like hold them to the fire? That's who I hold to the fire, is the athletic director who said, sure, yeah, we can do this. Chris Pesman just got fired at Houston. Like, sometimes we make decisions about ADs. I was around that athletic department, and there are some skeletons in that closet. Baylor, you're going to the Pac-12. Baylor, TCU. This was your dream 3 years ago to go to the Pac-12. You can. Kansas, there's some good basketball there. Oregon State, Boise State. Houston, the Pac-12 didn't want you. You're going to be independent for a while, bud. Sorry. Nothing I can do. I don't make the rules. I just talk into a microphone. Coming up, Colorado's good. On Locked On Big 12. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel's where I go on a day like today. Happy Sunday, everybody. And I say, I want to bet on a football team to win. And FanDuel lets me do it. It's also where I went and said, hey, FanDuel, I think that I really do think that in this college football game between Cincinnati and Houston will find a way to get it done. They didn't. Not even close. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5. Get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, current form of payment. cancel anytime. Visit FanDuel.com. Download America's #1 sportsbook. That is FanDuel.com. Visit it today.